Hello, American Literature 1. How we doing, guys? It is week 12. We're blazing through. Let's talk about what we're doing for this week. I'm going to share my screen with you, and let's take a look at American Literature. We'll go to the syllabus and see who we're reading this week. And just as I'm pulling this up, I just want to remind you guys that very soon I'll be doing all the grading for those discussion boards and for your regular homework. I've been pretty lenient this semester, trying to give you guys plenty of wiggle room for handing things in if you need to hand in a little late. I haven't been too harsh on you. However, once I do take a look at those grades, as soon as I score something, that stands. And so there's no going back once I've scored the grade. So if you've fallen behind, if there's anything that you haven't handed in that you should have handed in, please make sure to do it as soon as you can. A lot of you guys, I think, have kind of fallen behind on the discussion boards. Make sure that every discussion board that's out there, you've got at least 2 comments on other people's comments. Okay, so you hand in your weekly writing or video to the discussion board, and you make sure that you also, in addition to that, all of those discussion boards should have at least 2 comments of your own. Okay, so if I've already graded it, I'm sorry, it's done. But if I've not graded it yet, that still means, hey, anything's possible. So make sure to catch up on those things. I just try to give you the benefit of the doubt. It's kind of a crazy year, and so I just want to give you a little benefit of the doubt there. We are in week number 12, so we are on our last author that we're going to be reading for this semester, and then we're going to get into the literary essay. Go ahead and read all of Dickinson and read about who Emily Dickinson was. And I want you to read all of these poems. These are all very, what I would say, Dickinson essentials. These are the ones that you'll want to be able to recognize. They will be on the final, and you'll need to be able to recognize them. The final, by the way, just to kind of give you a little heads up on how the final is going to work. It is not going to be open book, open internet. I guess technically it will be, but it's going to be a timed test. It's not going to be something where you have a whole week to complete it like the midterm was. So you'll want to be able to recognize these poems, because I'll be asking you to do some identification. Of course, with Dickinson, just take a look at these poems. Now, a lot of times, or later on, people have given these poems titles, but Dickinson just numbered them, and that's why you just see a series of numbers. Those are not page numbers. Those are the actual poems. And so take a look at all those poems. I want you to read those. Make sure to do a weekly writing for at least one of those poems, and of course upload it to the discussion board, hand one copy into me directly, and of course make some marks, make some comments on Whitman. Hopefully you enjoyed Whitman. I always do. I always have a lot of fun, especially with the sleepers. That's probably one of my favorite ones. But beat the drums, I mean, they're all good, right? I mean, it's not like we're reading bad poetry here. So but basically, hopefully you enjoyed Whitman. Dickinson is she's in a class of her own. It's sometimes hard to really put her into a group. Of course, we've been talking about transcendentalists. It's kind of hard to really classify Dickinson. However, I would love to see if you could. I would love to know what you think about her style and what she focuses on. Is there a classification that you would put her in? I would be really interested to find that out. And that would be something great to put in both the discussion boards and then also in your weekly writing. So make sure to read those poems. Next week, we're going to start on the literary essay, and I will probably ask all of you to make an appointment with me sometime in week 13 or 14, so that we can discuss what you plan to do for your literary essay. Again, hopefully, now some of you guys many of you have handed in your author reports at this point. So congratulations if you handed those author reports in. You're doing great. This is approximately the time when you need to have both of those author reports done, because we want to make sure we can really focus on the literary essay, because it's an enormous amount of your grade. Just a quick reminder. Let's go back to the grade breakdown. Let's see, where is that grade breakdown here? It's here somewhere. No, I went too far. Here is the grade breakdown. So the literary essay is 20% of your final grade. Your author reports is combined, those are 20% too. So the cool thing is what I'm letting you do is I'm basically letting you use one of those author reports to inform how you're going to write your literary essay. So if you wrote one of your author reports about Dickinson, okay, well, cool. And you want to make your entire literary essay about Dickinson. Well, cool. You can do that. You've already started the research. You already have sources. You've already written some, and I'm already going to let you use at least part of your author report. You can't just copy and paste and then add to it, but you can use some parts of your author report in creating this literary essay, and that would help your overall grade significantly. Remember with your author reports too, if you notice there's an S next to that, you do need that video. You need to make a 5, maybe a 10-minute video presentation. It doesn't have to be fancy. It just needs to be you covering the main points of the author, and make sure to hand that in, or at least give me a link with the paper, with that report, so that I can watch it and give you a grade for that. You don't have to stand up in front of the class in this virtual environment. So that's one, I guess, nice little perk to having everything virtual these days. So that is what we're doing. That's what I'm expecting you guys to be working on. Guys, if you have any questions for me, or if there's anything I can help you with now, especially, I mean, this is whenever the vast majority of your grade will be decided. We've done the readings. We're down to the last author. You've done a lot of the writing work. Hopefully you've done all the readings. Hopefully you've really thought about these readings. And because we're getting ready to really hand in a lot of the major assignments. So if you have questions for me, feel free to contact me. We can set up a Zoom meeting. We can have a office hour meeting, and we can talk. And I'd be happy to go over anything you need to go over. Of course, always better later, or it's always better early than late. So if there's any question you have, even if you feel like you've waited too long, it's better to ask me now than in 2 weeks. So get a hold of me if you have questions, and I'm happy to help. Guys, have a great week, and I hope you enjoy Dickinson.